They started doing a Wohlfahrt House Christmas Carol just like you did it.
I think it was 2016.
2016, I think you're right.
Because I think it was Lauren Smith's first show here.
And we got to talk about Nick, because Nick is just, there's a reason he's the star of every Wohlfahrt House show. He has it all. We just got to mention.
He's amazing.
He knocked our socks off as Jerry Lee Lewis in Million Dollar Quartet. And then he played Tevye in Fiddler on the Roof. You were in Fiddler on the Roof. You want to talk a little bit about your experience?
I was. I also love that show. I did it this summer at Big Fork Summer Playhouse in Montana, and then I got to come here and do it again. And it's also one of the most important musicals, I think, of all time, with the story that it tells. And Nick was an amazing Tevye. It was such an honor to do that show with him. He's such an amazing actor.
And you played the wife that came back from the dead. Yes,
that was me, the evil girl.
Who Tevye made up.
From Sierra.
Yeah.
Yes, I was in the dream sequence.
He didn't really have that dream. He made that up to get Goldie to come around to his side. But you were brilliant in that as well.
Thank you.
But I have to say I really enjoyed your singing in particular. If you can sing good, you catch my ear, and I definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I definitely caught that from you. You played Topper's girlfriend in Fred's Christmas party sequence. And I would like to talk a little bit about Mr. Darius Sawyers.
Yes.
What a fantastic dancer he is.
He is. He's a natural.
I mean, he's very natural on stage. He definitely has a presence. But when he did those flips, those somersaults and flips in the middle of that scene, that stopped the show, in my opinion. Wonderful, I thought. And I was just so impressed with every part of the show. I thought that Dylan Giles, he played the role of the Ghost of Christmas Present. He was also Fezziwig. So I think there was no mistake in casting him in all of the spirits that embody, all the spirits that embody happiness and the joy of Christmas. And being appreciative of Christmas, because the characters of Fezziwig and Ghost of Christmas Present, they embody that, and he just oozes that, his gregarious personality. Just, what was it like working with him? Did you, no doubt with the energy that he had, that couldn't help but rub off on you, right?
True. Yes, he's such a jolly, happy guy, and he is so positive. He's always making us laugh. So when I found out that he was going to be the Ghost of Christmas Present, I was like, that makes sense.
Right.
And that absolutely makes sense, because he does embody the living in the moment and making the most of what you have in front of you so well. And that. And I knew he was going to do such a great job, and he does every single day.
And it's very obvious that you all love what you do. Everybody up there looks like they're having a good time. Yeah,
we do. We enjoy doing this show. I think we all collectively agree that the show moves quickly, but every single scene gets us through it, because the story is so important to tell, too, that we have this storytelling adrenaline, I think, in us while we're doing the show, and it keeps us going.
What's the most important part of the show for you?
I think, for me, I think in acknowledging that people can change and people can have a change of heart is really important, because especially in today's world, it's easy to, judge people or, I guess, not associate with people that don't live the way that you think they should. And I think the Christmas Carol story does such a great job of showing that people truly can change, and that everybody else should be accepting of that change. And I think it's so sweet at the end when everybody's singing together, and one of the lyrics is, stop and look around you, the glory that you see. And there's another line, I can't remember exactly what it is in this moment, about his friend.
See. I'm
looking around to his friends.
And
that lyric always.
Oh yeah, I'm singing it to myself now, trying to get it. Stop and look around you, the glory that you see, and if you want to know the measure of a man, you simply count his friends.
There it is. That's it. You simply count his friends.
Yeah.
And it's so sweet when we all can look at each other and show the audience
that you are friends.
And they have forgiven Scrooge for everything that he's done in the past, and they recognize that he's truly had a change of heart, and he is going to live his life to the best that he can, and continue to give and continue to be a good man. So I think that's my favorite part.
Well, and Nick,
that sweet moment.
And the Ghost of Christmas Present sings that in the Muppet Christmas Carol, by the way. They're great big tall guys that they made just for the show. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now that we've talked about that version so much. But as Scrooge, and this is where Nick does such a good job, because we see the full transformation from the bitterest miser to a fully redeemed, embodiment of the true spirit of Christmas. We grieve with him when he reflects on being an unwanted child, as well as in the regret of lost love. We understand why he turned cold, because his parents rejected him, or his father rejected him, or whatever the reason is. We understand why he turned against people. And when he lost that love, we feel his pain. And then that heart-wrenching song, "When Love Is Gone," from the Muppets, that just tears you right up. And then we rejoice with him when he's, as you said before, dancing in the ballroom at Fezziwig's, and remembering the joy that he used to know. And then when he has the joy of sending that turkey to Bob Cratchit and having a meal with Fred, we see the true joy that he has when he meets the two charity drive people, and tells them that he wants them to come and see him, and he's going to give them all this money for back payments of what he missed in years past, and the joy that he has on his face when he does that. It's truly a full circle story. But that's what I was going to say about. It was 7 years ago. I knew I had it in here somewhere. 7 years ago, when A Wohlfahrt Haus Christmas Carol was first unveiled, and I was actually there. A friend of mine, I got to mention my dear friend Pam Feltz. When I first started reviewing, she would come as my guest, and because I would always get a +1, and she would come as my guest. And then years later, she ended up working in the box office for 8 years. but she died about this time 2 years ago of a prolonged illness. She was only 61, but she was responsible for getting me tickets to see the very first Wohlfahrt Haus Christmas Carol, and I saw that first show that first Wohlfahrt Haus Christmas Carol, and to see the growth in Nick, especially, to becoming a total commander of the stage and its captive audience was absolutely awe-inspiring, because Nick and Lauren, and I have to mention Lauren too, she played Ghost of Christmas Past, and talk about a beautiful voice.
She does have such a beautiful voice.
And the song that she sang, I mean, and that beautiful costume she had too. You know, it was just, I mean, when she sang that song, just when you can tell a story through song, and not everybody can do that, but when you can sing a song and take somebody on a journey, you really capture their heart as well as their attention. And they are a powerhouse couple for sure.
They really are.
And
they're so versatile and so talented and so great to work with too.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody is. And I gotta mention another one here, one that has been a friend of mine since the first day I ever came to Wohlfahrt Haus. My buddy, Mr. Kendall Payne, who plays Fred, one of the sweetest and most talented guys in the world. Again, perfect for Fred, because his personality just absolutely personifies who Fred is, and was just perfect for that. And I saw him after the show, the first time I'd seen him in probably 16 years, and he hadn't aged a day, and he seemed very happy to see me, and it just made my day, because I was very happy to see him. Just a sweet guy. But one of the things that is the most memorable from both times that I saw Wohlfahrt Haus Christmas was the a cappella version of We Three Kings. The first time I saw it, I think it was Kendall Payne, Nathan Alston, and someone else. And then this time, of course, it was Kendall and Rocky and Dylan. But that always gets me. I mean, just the perfection, the flawlessness of that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And that's not easy to do. I mean, I don't know how people could not be moved to tears.
Yeah.
I certainly am every time. But it's just a beautiful story all around, and I'm sorry that I've done all the talking, but I get
No, you are good. It's so fun to talk about the show and the story.
I get so excited about A Christmas Carol. You know, every year. I remember that when I was 12 years old, my mother came back from New York and said, I want to give you this, and I want you to keep it always and remember me. And it was this beautiful hardback book of Christmas Carol with Victorian illustrations, and I just read it and sobbed. Just sobbed. Because she said, keep it always and remember me. And I thought, and so I'm thinking, what would I ever do without you? And I just absolutely sobbed. But it is one of the things that I treasure most in the world. And she has given me, you know, the mock-up of the original first edition. It's a reproduction of the first edition of Christmas Carol. And she gave me a gilded pocket version of A Christmas Carol, which I use and I read to my wife and daughter every year at Christmas. I read them A Christmas Carol. And, you know, the whole thing just means so much to me.
Special.
And to be, you know, for that story to be this Christmas, it's 180 years old. For it to be 180 years old and still be probably the most resonant piece of prose that we have in existence today that still holds up. It's amazing what Charles Dickens was able to do.
Truly, it's so relevant.
So, is there any other versions other than the Muppets that's more your favorite, or are you Muppet all the way?
I'm Muppet all the way.
Yeah.
I that's the one that I grew up the most with.
Right.
I've seen a few of. Anytime I see the story, of course, I love it. But Michael Caine does such a good job as Scrooge.
He does. And
that is my favorite.
Yeah. And have you seen The Man Who Invented Christmas?
No, I haven't.
You need to look that up. It is Dan Stevens, who people know him from Downton Abbey.
Okay, I have seen Downton Abbey.
Yeah, he played Matthew that got killed in the car wreck. Anyway, okay, Dan Stevens, he plays Charles Dickens, and it tells the story of his writing, how he came to write A Christmas Carol.
Okay.
And
I'll have to look that up.
And it's just a beautiful piece, and the characters come to him in his mind while he's thinking of it. And they had Christopher Plummer play Ebenezer Scrooge, and he was so brilliant. And of course, we lost him like last year. And it was I would love to see a full Christmas Carol with him playing Scrooge. And of course, now we won't ever get to. But he was so good, and I would just love to see a full representation of him being Scrooge. But
yeah,
that is definitely something to check out for you if you're a fan.
I for sure will.
But coming back to Muppets, what was your favorite part of the Muppet one? I've got to ask.
The Muppet one, I love Miss Piggy.
Yeah.
And Kermit and all of their little crashes.
And all their little pig frogs. Wasn't that just wonderful?
Yes, they're little pig frogs. I just always loved that scene.
Well, you can imagine them in real life, being married in real life and having these little pig frogs at home, and the girls being just like Piggy and the little boy frogs being just like Kermit, you know.
It's just precious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I just always loved that part.
And her eating the chestnuts before the kids can see them.
Yes.
I wasn't eating them. I was just checking them to make sure they're done. You know.
She's so funny.
Well, my favorite Muppet has always been Animal. I love Animal, and he has a very small part in it during it's the Fozziwig Christmas party, and because Fozzie is playing Fezziwig, and he has a very small part. And Fozzie's trying to quiet him down so he can make a speech, and they won't quiet down. So Animal shows up and says, "Quiet!" And everybody of course hushes when Animal hollers. And then when they start the dance scene, Animal just does this big rock drum solo and gets everybody going. I love Animal. He's always been my favorite. So
yeah, he's great.
Well, my favorite entertainer of all time is Phil Collins, so I guess it has to do with the drummer.
I still love it, and I still watch it every year. I've already watched it once this year.
Is that right? Yeah. Well, it's a great one for sure.
Great.
Well, thank you for taking so much time with me. I hope I have not bored you to tears.
No, this was great. Thanks so much for having me.
Is there anything else you wanted to say that I didn't talk about?
I think we covered most of it. The show runs until the 23rd.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still going.
Yes, indeed.
Story to tell.
Yes, indeed. And if you haven't gone to see it, do go, because it is incredible. it really kicked off our Christmas season right. And thank you again for your kind attention to us as our server. It was a pleasure to get to know you.
So nice to meet you and your family and friends.
And you blessed us this Christmas in not just in serving us, but in your great performance as well. And I do hope we'll see you again at Wohlfahrt House. Do you know yet if you're coming back for 2024?
I don't know yet, but I would love to. So we will see.
Well, if you do, don't forget me, and we'll do another podcast if you'll have me.
Okay, I would love that.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking so much time. Well, you have a great day, and I look forward to seeing you again, hopefully.
Thank you. I'll see you again soon.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.